Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my outdoor garden refuge. Let me show you around my beautiful purple leaf 10x13 hardtop gazebo. Let's turn this into this. We are starting out with a pretty, I'm going to call it the apocalyptic garden. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to do a lot of work and eventually we're going to dial it in. But in the meantime, we have an old metal structure here we're going to get rid of. We're going to get rid of this old McDonald's bench. We're going to go ahead and mow and weed whack and get rid of some drip system tubes. And we're gonna just get out the gazebo and transform this into a beautiful space. We have the purple leaf 10x13 foot gazebo. Let's grab the boxes. They're out at my front gate. Let's bring them back here. Bree's excited about it. So am I. So today's mission, first evening, don't have too long to work. Slice down the metal poles, mow, weed whack, get that taken care of. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 4 boxes are out and about. Box number 1 is gonna have your instruction manual right over here. Looking absolutely fantastic. We are gonna start piecing this together. It is a little bit breezy out here right now, and because this is going to be in a garden, I'm not going to mount this to cement. I eventually will. This looks a lot better than what it did. It still needs a lot of work, but regardless, I'm going to show you a couple of different tips for installing this. We do get heavy winds. We literally just had 20-mile-an-hour winds, and so we are going to be specializing mounting this down so it doesn't blow away, because we do get gusts sometimes of like 35 miles an hour out here. We definitely don't want this blowing over. So let's start piecing this together. I will fill you in on tips and tricks about things that we get to in certain portions. So let's go ahead and get started. But as we do get started, top link in the description box below will be this exact same 10x13 gazebo. You guys can read more about it and pick it up yourself after, of course, you watch the video. So anyway, that's going to be the top link in the description box below. Let's get this on out and put it together. Everything is very well packaged. Definitely razor blade down your boxes, put them in the trash. But we're just going to start laying stuff out here. Our kit, all our hardware, our curtains, our steel. It's beautiful steel that's upside down right now. Beautiful gray. Let's get it. Alrighty, it's a beautiful evening out here. I have the parts laid out. This is what I've been working on. Pillars and the cross beams and the posts. Obviously, you have 3 feet longer on the back and front section. Something to keep in mind, whatever direction you want to do, there is a very small logo. I'll show you that. It says purple leaf. Depends if you want it, facing. If not, no worries. So I'm going to go ahead and get the ladder out, and we'll go ahead and put the frame in place, and then we'll work on mounting it to our little posts, I'm going to call them, or little attachments right down here. I'll get to that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are pretty far into this project, and let's go ahead and give you a few little tips and tricks. So number 1, a compact drill is going to be your really good friend. Now, there are Allen wrenches inside of the hardware box. Everything is labeled absolutely beautifully. I just literally placed, and sorry, it's a little windy out here today. We had some rain and thunderstorms come over. Now, temporarily, I have it set up with some cinder blocks holding it in place right now, but obviously I'm going to be using some anchors or cinder blocks with some tie straps, and we will be good to go then. So again, I opened up the boxes, I laid everything out. Everything is very well and very clear in the instructions. All the nuts and bolts have the little codes, and again, all my other parts that I'm still working on are laid out in the garden here. The roofing material is right over here, as we can see, and the curtains are in the bag right here. I got some nice flowers ready to go right here, and the gazebo right here looking absolutely fantastic. Now, another tip for you here is having a helper would definitely help out, especially with lifting the square frame and the top portion that you see right here, which is going to be right up here, right here. So it was really easy for me to do like 2 sides, but then I actually had to brace it with cinder blocks because I didn't have another helper to be able to get all 4 frame and posts in play. I was able to do it by myself, but it would have been a lot quicker to be able to get it done with a helper. Just put on a really good podcast and go ahead and just work away, grab your instruction manual. And again, everything is laid out just beautifully in the instruction manual. It says what number to what. I mean, it's very easy to put this together. So I'm going to go ahead and continue. Now, a little tip for you here, putting on the roof panels. So I'm on the top section first, and if you are having trouble slipping them in, you can try to do what the directions say and lift up the top portion to see if you can slide it in even more. I actually found the easiest thing to do is go ahead and loosen up your bolts on the corners here, as well as the middle here, and then over here on the right as well. That will loosen the frame right here to be able to slip it in. Then this will have flexing room to be able able to slip that in and then retighten after you're done with that. So this one is now loose here on this side, and then I'll do the same thing for that bar, fitting in those panels there. That's what I've done all around the 3 sides so far, and it makes it a lot easier putting those in. All right, folks, let's get you caught up to speed here before we do progress. If you are in a garden like I am and you are like, okay, how am I going to mount these footers, especially if it does get windy? And the curtains are in, everything is in, so we're going to dial that in just a second, but I want to talk about the footers. So I was bracing down the footers with cinder blocks until I could figure that out. And then what I decided to do is go with this system right over here, which I'm going to show you a little bit better over here on this corner right here. So this is an option if you can dig a hole, or you could even raise it up if you want as well, if you don't have a cement foundation. Now, could the bolts that came with the kit, could they go into the cylinders? Possibly, but I decided this is probably the easiest thing. I already had this hardware on hand, and so I'll show you, pretty much exactly what I'm doing here. So it does get very windy where I am in the country. So I dug a hole, put the cinder blocks down as level as I could, and then let's go ahead and come over to the other side. It's a little bit easier to see what I've done. And then of course, I will be filling the inside of the cinder blocks. This is just leftover sand I had. I will be putting back the dirt from the hole, shoving it in the cinder block holes, matting it all down really nicely. We're going to make it look really pretty. And this is an option if you need to level out your gazebo. I've used some wedges right here to level it out a little bit, so I'm not dealing with trying to level out the dirt, lifting it up, etc. If you don't have a helper, easiest thing to do. So I've taken this band. I don't know the technical term of it, but I will also link it in the description box below, as well as this gazebo by Purple Leaf. So I use this. I already had this on hand. I had like 2 big rolls of it. I'm definitely going to have to pick up more. I might be able to do my final 2 cinder blocks with the remainder here, hopefully. So I've taken some nuts and bolts and washers. I've tied it together, so I've slipped it in and around, gone underneath the footing of the gazebo. So I have 1 hole here, and then I have 1, 2 right here. So this band over here is locked into both cinder blocks, nut and bolted together. This is nut and bolted together. This is nut and bolted together, and then 1 nut and bolt for that hole for the footing right there. So what that's going to do, and then of course, again, I'm going to pack the insides with dirt. I'm going to cover it with dirt, and I'll kind of briefly show you here on this side. This is not 100% done, but you can see here, if you want the footer to show, you can show the footer if you want to, but I'm going to go ahead and just, level it out like that. So it looks like the posts are actually going in the ground, so you can't see any of the hardware. And then I'm going to get a little stamper and I'm going to stamp the ground. We're going to make it look real pretty. Or just, take your feet and shuffle around it and then take a rake and smooth out the ground there. So that's a great option if you have a garden dirt and not a cement foundation, or you don't have a deck wood foundation to latch it into. And I also highly recommend, if you do live in a windy area, to get this done as one of your first steps before you do start putting the gazebo together. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, looking absolutely fantastic. We still need to dial in the landscaping just a little bit, beautify this, bring out some outdoor furniture, but look at the gazebo, just looking sharp, so sharp. Love the dark gray color. Got the curtains installed. We'll show you that. Got the double top up front, dark gray up top. In certain lighting looks black, but right now shining over here, you can see the dark gray. Roof is a nice dark color. Love that as well. We're going to put planter boxes out here, some furniture, some flowers. Let's dial it in a little bit more before we get into the curtain details here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm underneath an umbrella, but I do want to show you the gazebo and how the water hits the roof, goes into the channels, and obviously doesn't go down on your guests. Now, let's go ahead and take a closer look, but let's first come around here and we'll go ahead and look at the channels a little bit more here. So again, hitting the double roof, coming down and then going into the water channels, which are right here, and bringing the water down and away. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Now, the storm actually just kind of crossed through. We were hitting about, I think I clocked in about 27-mile-an-hour gusts of wind, maybe a little bit more than that, but storm is kind of lifting up and going over at the moment, but I did want to capture this on film. So let's go inside and let's take a little look at the gazebo. Now, obviously with those gusts of wind, few drops obviously kind of came in at angles, but my table is dry, cushions are dry. Again, this corner right here kind of came in a little bit on the chair, but as you can see, really deterred the rain. Like, it's dropping pretty decent. on the roof, if you could probably hear it with some thunder. And I got my planter boxes looking absolutely fantastic. Sounds beautiful on the metal roof as it's trickling down and looking really, really good. So we'll get back out here with some better weather and we'll talk about the furniture. We'll show you the curtains and the bug screens as well, or I want to say screen and then your blackout curtains. But taking a look at my beautiful little area here, nicely decorated, and see, you can see it's kind of coming in at an angle here because obviously that chair is right up against there, as we can see. But I got some solar lights out here. We have candle lantern boxes, more solar lights. Let me move my umbrella out of the way, and another planter box with another chair. And then this is not part of the gazebo, but this is also a purple leaf 6x8 grill barbecue gazebo with shelving, as we can see here. Even with it raining pretty good, that double roof is doing a great job by not letting water in as well. So overall, that definitely does a nice job. I'd be sitting out there, but I did already eat, and that's looking really, really good. Let me give you a little side example if you are interested in both gazebos, the 10x13 and the 6x8 barbecue grill gazebo. This is a beautiful look for my garden, in the center of the garden, and we'll start building the garden up. We're already planting right now and definitely looking good with the purple leaf gazebo as the centerpiece, especially those planter boxes, coffee table, outdoor furniture, candle boxes. That's a real nice treat right there. Also, like I mentioned, we got up to about 30-mile-an-hour gusts, and those footers, this thing didn't even sway at all. So definitely secure it down nicely, especially if you are in a high wind traffic area. Now, I know it's a little bit hard to see here, but right now it's only 14-mile-an-hour winds, but we just had a gust about 22-mile-an-hour winds. Let's go ahead and show you that. Wind's whipping there a little bit, and the gazebo is holding just absolutely stunning with this wind, of course, with those nice concrete cinder block footers all the way around it. All right, if you can see that, we just hit 24.4-mile-an-hour winds, and again, holding up just beautifully. All righty, here's an even better explanation. We have gusts 42.1 miles an hour. 42. We have a big storm coming over right now. Gazebo is looking like an absolute champ with, again, those cinder block footers. It's actually hailing a little bit right now, but really hard rain. The storm is literally overhead right now and looking absolutely fantastic. But we are praying that there wouldn't be like hail. It's almost like it's softish. It's not large, praise the Lord, because I planted a bunch of trees out there and I don't want that to be hindered. Anyway, I think the heart of the storm, or the eye of the storm, went over us, but wanted to capture that on film. Again, that will come down, but that gust, that last big gust, was 42.1 miles an hour. I went out there when it was about, 30 something, and gazebo is just looking great. So it's going to be a good shelter for your backyard, for your furniture, for your car, if you're using it as a carport, etc. As it seems like the worst of the storm has kind of passed over, praise the Lord. We definitely don't want hail. Alrighty, folks, let's show you the curtains I've been promising you for a while here. And I'll try to get the shot later on this evening of the solar lights. Those look really sharp as well, as you can see over here in the corner. Now, the rainstorm passed over, but it dirtied up a few of my little things here, but that is okay because this is all outdoor furniture. So we've showed you around, beautiful outdoor area, lantern boxes, table, chairs, very comfortable. But let me give you an example here. So let's say you were having a little get together. Well, that afternoon sun is coming right in and it's hitting those back chairs, not to mention the table as well. Out here in the country where I am in Colorado, it does get pretty spicy sometimes. Yesterday was about 90 degrees. So let me show you, let's go ahead and close first the bug netting, and then we'll show you the blackout curtains, or the curtains, I'm going to call them here. Okay, so let's go ahead and undo the straps here. We'll come around to the back here. We have it nicely Velcroed right here. All right, I'm going to put you to a nice little wide angle shot here. Let me show you. And then zips down from top down, just like that there. Now you have some nice bug netting. Do that on all four sides if you want, or just one side like I have right here. So this side is open, this side zipped up as we just saw, and this side open right here, and then right in front of us is closed as well. Let me go ahead and back you up a little bit more here as we can see that. Beautiful, beautiful shot there. Now, again, let's say you got bugs and you want to block the sun. Real simple. The sun actually is pretty strong still. And that right there gives you instant relief. Now it is calm right now, so you don't have to zip that up if you don't want to. But if you do, all the way top to bottom, giving you beautiful, I wouldn't call it like blackout, but that's pretty much blackout. You can see very little ambient light coming through, but I would almost call that blackout. You can see kind of the shadow of the planter box right here, but that is definitely going to keep you shaded and the sun off you for your get together. And also, if you are having a get together, it also gives you some privacy as well on each side, the back, etc. And you don't have to close them both in. You can just use one side if you want. If it's not windy, like it is right here, it would be perfectly still. If there is a little wind whipped and it's not zippered, it might flap a little bit. So again, you can use both or just one, as far as that side goes without me zipping up that side. So again, you can wrap yourself entirely in or leave a little bit open like that. For get-togethers, especially with that afternoon summer sun, I would probably keep it more like this, maybe even put this one around, but these chairs aren't really getting any sun right here. So probably at least the back area, great feature for the bugs, the bug netting, and the blackout protected privacy curtain as well. So that looks absolutely fantastic. So as you can see here, that is definitely a thumbs up in my book, ladies and gentlemen. See, look at from this angle here, total privacy for your backyard garden, like in my situation. And after that rainstorm, it is beautifully still and doing an absolutely fantastic job. I need to do some more work around the house, but I feel like sitting down and enjoying this beautiful refuge right here. And also after that, 45 or 42 mile an hour gusts we saw, the straps, the curtains, everything is beautiful. It wasn't flapping around or anything. Nicely tied in with those Velcro straps. And overall, this gazebo has done a very excellent job, especially with those torrential rainstorms, at least that one torrential rainstorm. And then other day, we showed you the rainstorm as well. So it's done a great job. Let me get a little shot for you here because I know you were curious about those solar lights. So nice as it's just lighting up. Still a little bit of light outside, but I got my flower pots and the solar lights flip around this way here, looking really nice, especially with that beautiful little hue of the evening. I like what I'm seeing, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely passes my tests, especially after what we've seen with weather-wise. Once again, top link in the description box right below the video and comments will be this exact same 10x13 gazebo by Purple Leaf, where you guys can read more about it and pick it up yourself. But just like all my videos, please don't go into debt for anything I do make a video about. But if you do have the cash and it does intrigue you, please go ahead and purchase on away. If you wouldn't mind hitting that thumbs up button on the way out, helps the channel. Also subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, as well as the 6x8 barbecue grill gazebo by Purple Leaf as well. That is the second gazebo attached to this one. And also stay tuned, I'm working with Purple Leaf for outdoor furniture, as well as look at my channel. I'll link it in the description box below as well. Their umbrella, and I have a new umbrella by Purple Leaf showing up, which we're going to be reviewing as well. Beautiful features. Check out the link for the gazebo in description box and comments. My name is Chris, and I will see you on the next video. Take care for now. Bye-bye.